Hello?
Meron to.
Excellencies, distinguished members of the Philippine and Slovenian delegation, members of the DFA Press Corps, colleagues, friends, good afternoon, and welcome to today's joint press conference by the Honorable Enrique A. Manalo, Secretary for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of the Philippines, and Her Excellency Tanja Fajon, Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign and European Affairs of the Republic of Slovenia. We will first hear from Secretary Manalo, after which we will request Minister Fajon to deliver her remarks. Secretary Manalo, you have the floor.
Thank you. Her Excellency Tanja Fajon, delegates from the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs of the Republic of Slovenia, my colleagues in the Department of Foreign Affairs, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am pleased to welcome Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign and European Affairs, Tanja Fajon, to Manila. Her visit, the first ever of a foreign minister of Slovenia, is a milestone in our 31 years of formal diplomatic relations. Foreign Minister Fajon will also formally open the Embassy of the Republic of Slovenia in Manila, currently the only mission of Slovenia in our Southeast Asia region, later this afternoon. Our meeting today was built on the momentum from the success of the inaugural Philippines-Slovenia political consultations held on February 5 this year in Ljubljana. Today, we discussed ways to strengthen cooperation in key sectors, especially trade and investment, and to build on the results of the political consultations. Foreign Minister Fajon is joined by a Slovenian business delegation engaged in areas such as mobility, manufacturing, food and beverage, ICT, science and technology, and hospitality. The business delegation will meet with their counterparts from the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI, during the Slovenia-Philippine Business Forum tomorrow, with the aim of encouraging and promoting collaboration between our chambers of commerce and industry and between Philippine and Slovenian businesses. In addition, we will continue our cooperative activities in other sectoral areas such as space, S&T applications, nuclear energy, maritime education, training, sports, and labor. Following our meeting, the Philippines and Slovenia will sign a memorandum of understanding on labor cooperation during the Employment Forum, organized by the Department of Migrant Workers. This MOU represents our shared advocacy for safe, orderly, and regular migration. Foreign Minister Fajon and I also discussed regional and international developments, namely the developments in the Indo-Pacific, ASEAN, and the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea, as well as Ukraine, the Middle East. Also discussed were important issues such as climate change and climate financing. The issue of women, peace, and security was also discussed. In fact, after successfully hosting the International Conference on Women, Peace, and Security in Pasay in October 2024, Slovenia will co-sponsor the Philippines side event entitled Turning Pledges into Progress, Operationalizing the Pasay Declaration on Women, Peace, and Security next week at the sidelines of the 69th session of the Commission on Status of Women at the UN headquarters in New York. Minister Fajon and I also tackled the issue of the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea, emphasizing the importance of a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. I thank the Foreign Minister for expressing solidarity with the Philippines when it comes to the security and the observance of international law in the South China Sea, with the Minister pointing out Slovenia's commitment to international law, particularly UNCLOS. The Philippines is fully committed to defending its sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction in the South China Sea, but at the same time engaging China in dialogue and diplomacy in addressing our differences. The positive trajectory of Philippine-Slovenia bilateral relations is largely a result of our shared values and alignment of views on regional and global issues, and also our mutual commitment to a rules-based international order governed by international law. I heartily look forward to strengthening our partnership with Slovenia. Again, our warmest welcome to the Foreign Minister and her delegation. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Manalo, Minister Fajon, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. First of all, let me sincerely thank Secretary Manalo for the warm welcome I received on this historic visit, the first ever by a Slovenian foreign minister to the Philippines. The visit has been long overdue, which makes it all the more significant as we are celebrating a major milestone, the opening of our embassy in the Philippines, the only Slovenian embassy in the ASEAN region. The opening of the embassy demonstrates our strong desire and interest to work closely with the Philippines and this dynamic region of very global importance. The political consultations that we held last month in Ljubljana, the first of their kind, identified a number of areas where our two countries could cooperate in the future. We have much to learn from the Philippines as an important maritime nation. We face similar challenges when it comes to energy security. There is potential for cooperation in space technologies and in sports. We look forward to men's volleyball world championship later this year, and we could also work together more on climate change. As Secretary Manalo knows, I'm accompanied, and he mentioned, by a large number of Slovenian companies and institutions, so business employment delegation of almost 40 companies and institutions representing various sectors, including highway maintenance, food industry, manufacturing activities, information and communication technologies, and even the space sector, as well as representatives of the Slovenian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Spirit Slovenia, our export and investment promotion agency. And this high number shows the great interest of Slovenian business and institutions in cooperating with the Philippines. And in addition, the Slovenian and the Philippine Chambers of Commerce and Industry will re-sign the Memorandum of Understanding. The delegation also includes representatives from the transport sector, as Slovenia is a maritime gateway to Central Europe. I'm glad that today we are signing a Memorandum of Understanding on labor cooperation. Filipinos are held in high regard around the world for their dedication, strong work ethic, and loyalty, and we look forward to welcoming more workers from the Philippines to Slovenia. In this regard, two events will take place during my visit. First, employment event entitled Living and Working in Slovenia, which is a great opportunity to provide job seekers with reliable information about what it's like to work and live in Slovenia, while ensuring that they understand their rights and get the legal protection they need. And it's about fair pay, safe working conditions, social securities, and real opportunities for personal and professional development. At the same time, this event aims to establish a government-to-government approach to the recruitment of Filipino workers in Slovenia to ensure a smooth and well-supported employment process for all concerned. And the second, the Slovenian-Philippine Business Forum will provide opportunities to strengthen business cooperation and B2B meetings. Our meeting today with Secretary Manolo also confirmed that we see eye to eye on a number of issues on the current international affairs and multilateral agenda, such as climate change, UN reform, gender equality, and others, and both countries are strongly engaged in the activities related to the women, peace, security nexus. Slovenia firmly supports the negotiations aimed at reaching an ambitious and comprehensive free trade agreement between the EU and the Philippines, and we are both advocates of close cooperation between the EU and ASEAN, which we highly value. We believe that this cooperation is even more important in the current international situation. The geopolitical position of ASEAN and the Philippines also brings with it some challenges. And in this regard, I would like to express, as the Secretary mentioned, our full solidarity with Philippines over the continuing incidents in the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. Dangerous maneuvers in this maritime area, which we have witnessed in recent years, are disturbing and run contrary to UNCLOS. For Slovenia, respect of international law, including UNCLOS, as well for the International Arbiter Awards, is of paramount importance. And we speak from our own experience. We call upon all states to conduct their maritime activities in accordance with UNCLOS and to settle their maritime disputes peacefully and free from coercion. And maintaining a free, secure, peaceful and stable South China Sea should be a priority for all. In addition to discussing the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea and the West Philippine Sea, Secretary Manalo and I also discussed recent geopolitical challenges and their impact on our region. We also touched upon the ongoing war in Ukraine and the dire situation in Myanmar. As a current member of the UN Security Council, Slovenia is keen to support ASEAN's efforts to address the crisis in the country. We've discussed the Middle East situation, so the conflicts that we are facing around the globe. And we are delighted to have a like-minded partner in the Philippines, and that has been confirmed again very strongly today. This visit marks the beginning of a new and very promising relationship between our two countries and our peoples. And I'm also pleased to announce today that our ministry will soon initiate internal procedures for the accession of Slovenia to the ASEAN Treaty on Amity and Cooperation. I will have a number of meetings and events today and tomorrow, and it will be a special honor to me to be received by President Marcos tomorrow, as well as several meetings with other senior officials, business people, and students. So thank you very much for great hospitality.
Thank you, Minister Fajon. We will now commence the Q&A. Can I call on Gabby Milde of PTV4 for his question?
Good afternoon, Secretary Manalo and Foreign Minister Fajon. Ma'am, welcome to the Philippines. This question is both for you guys. My question would be, what is the importance of the Philippines to become Slovenia's first diplomatic mission in the ASEAN region, and how it will boost political ties between the two countries? Thank you so much.
Go ahead. Thank you so much for the very important question. I hope I already addressed some of the issues. It is a historic opportunity for Slovenia to open first residential embassy in Philippines, and also first embassy to basically covering ASEAN as a hub. So we do want to really strengthen our political, economic relations, people-to-people contacts as two very like-minded countries. We are non-permanent member of a Security Council, strongly committed to international law, to UN Charter, to human rights, and we share those values together with Philippines, and we also are fully supportive to the candidacy of Philippines to the Security Council in the near future. So I think we have maybe a lot of common challenges, but also a lot of common potential, also to boost investments, to boost economic cooperation in the fields I mentioned, from space, pharmaceuticals, nuclear energy, renewables, etc. And mostly what I like, speaking to each other, that we are friendly countries and we really want to promote peace and a political dialogue.
Secretary Manalo.
Thank you. I can only add to what Foreign Minister Fajon said, but I think from the more practical point, first, the opening of an embassy by Slovenia in the Philippines certainly is an indication of their growing and growing strong ties. And the presence of the embassy here in Manila will also provide an opportunity for direct interaction between officials of the Philippine government and the government of Slovenia, as well as our private sector. So certainly the presence here will facilitate the strengthening of our cooperation. We also hope that with the presence today of a sizable business delegation from Slovenia, we'll be able to hammer out cooperation in various sectors of economic sectors such as pharmaceuticals, aerospace, semiconductor manufacturing, as well as aerospace electronics. And as mentioned by the ministers, I think later this afternoon they will be signing an MOU in cooperation with the Department of Migrant Workers. So all of these taken together, plus the opening of the embassy here in Manila, do indicate that the prospects for greater cooperation between the Philippines and Slovenia are very bright, and not only in terms of our bilateral cooperation, but also on regional and international issues.
Thank you. Michael Dalcalar from GMA News Online.
Good afternoon. I would like to follow up on the question of my colleague Gab. This for Secretary Manalo and Minister Fayon. Can you tell us more on the specific areas of cooperation that you're looking at, specifically on defense and security, trade, and people-to-people exchange? And for Minister Fayon, Secretary Manalo may also wish to answer the question. The idea of an ASEAN-NATO has been proposed and discussed here in Asia, but some say that the establishment of such security bloc is not yet feasible because of differing alliances and capacities. So being a member of NATO, how crucial is it, do you think, that for Asia to establish a NATO-like alliance or any collective of democracies as a deterrence to regional crisis similar to Russia's invasion of Ukraine? Thank you.
Two questions.
On the NATO.
I can. So I believe your second question is addressed to me on a collective security and experience of our alliance. I could just say that for us, Slovenia being a part of NATO alliance, this is the best guarantee we have for our collective security. And I believe every alliance that provides security in a peaceful manner through the dialogue and strengthen our values, it's a way to go for. So I wouldn't comment on what is the current situation here in the region, but I can just say that any initiative that promotes security, peace, and solidarity among the countries in the region is a step in the right direction.
I think on the first question, I think you were mentioning what areas of cooperation. Well, I think really there are quite a number. As I mentioned earlier, there were the political consultations held last month in Ljubljana, so we have built on that in today's discussions, and we have discussed possible cooperation or further cooperation in areas of mobility, manufacturing, food and beverage, ICT, science and technology, hospitality services, pharmaceuticals, aerospace, electronics, semiconductor manufacturing, and of course a host of other areas which would consist of both trade and investment, and also labor cooperation. And this afternoon they will be signing, Slovenia and the Philippines will be signing an MOU on labor cooperation during the employment forum with the DMW. We also discussed possible cooperation in education, sports, and sports exchanges. In fact, I understand Slovenia is among the finalists in the volleyball tournament we will be hosting later this year. So there's also great room for further cooperation in sports, and I presume also maybe even basketball later. So I mean, it's really a broad range, and the important thing is we're now seriously discussing concrete ways forward. On the issue of NATO, well, at the moment, of course, many countries are operating more on the establishment of greater partnerships, multilateral arrangements, bilateral arrangements, trilateral arrangements, both for economic and as well as political and military activities. So I think that is the present approach. There hasn't really been any formal discussion in any of our organizations, whether in ASEAN or anything I'm aware of on a possible NATO. I think what will happen is that each region will just have to eventually find out which is the best type of arrangement which its members can live with in addressing the security challenges. So I think this is an issue which will be on our minds for some time, but we have to find the best ways forward. And right now, partnerships of a bilateral, trilateral, multilateral scope or arrangement would be the most suitable for our needs today. But of course, situation is dynamic, so you never know.
Thank you. The last question from Raymond Antonio from Manila Bulletin.
Good afternoon, Secretary Manalo. Good afternoon, Minister Fajon. Some believe the international order is at the most dangerous moment since World War II, and the authority and role of the United Nations are being undermined. How can this be avoided, and what role will this partnership play for peace and stability in the region and globally?
It's a very important question to us. For Slovenia, the respect of international law, the international humanitarian law, and the UN Charter is of extreme importance. There is no alternative to that. So we are strongly committed to also the work of international tribunals, to accountability, to the work of ICC, as also being a member of Rome Statute. So these are the values that I believe we share with the Philippines, and I think in the Security Council, we really have to work very hard to protect these values and the work of the institution that is the only guarantor for the collective or the world peace and security. So I can just say very strongly and underline how important the international law in today's very challenging and complex geopolitical environment is. And we need like-minded countries such as Philippines and Slovenia to work closely together and to protect our shared values.
I think the best way now, given the present geopolitical dynamics and situation, is for countries to reaffirm the importance of cooperation, multilateralism, and a commitment to international law and a rules-based order, and to work with other countries to create greater awareness of the importance of adhering to a rules-based order. And I think the Security Council and the UN should still continue to play that role, and that's why we're very happy to see Slovenia on the Security Council. They share our same values, our same positions on many issues, and we intend to support Slovenia in whatever way we can during its term in the Security Council. And naturally, our campaign for the Security Council non-permanent seat is also based on these important values and principles. So I think that is the best way to address the challenges that we face today, especially at the multilateral level.
Thank you, Secretary Manalo. Thank you, Minister Fajon. That concludes our press conference. Can we have a photo opportunity before we say goodbye to everyone? Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, DFA Press Corps. We wish the Slovenian delegation meaningful stay in the Philippines, productive meeting, and safe journey back. And good afternoon to all.